guys, Scott from aristocob.com here.
And Seth from theshrinkingpastor.com.
And together, the three of us, we are Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club. Welcome back to Mark Woodman's Breakfast Club. Morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
And I got to tell you, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, El Nino, right? It's the end of December. It is 85 degrees outside. Fortunately, in my shop, it's only 70 degrees. But I opened the windows to get a little bit of a breeze in here, and I can't believe that in December it's hotter outside than it is in here. So, anyway. Yeah. So we're sweaty because we're sweaty. So how was Christmas for you, boy? Oh, wait, I need to smoke something.
Okay.
Today, we're going to smoke. I purchased some Missouri Meerschaum Limited Edition Independence Day 2015. I'm not exactly sure how this happened, but it was a deal that was struck by Lane and somebody to make some of this, and there it is. Let's read what it says. This limited edition pipe tobacco is made of sweet, zesty Virginias, mellow Burleys, and soft and silky black Cavendish, accented by the bright, fresh flavors of summertime. This blend is optimized for enjoyment in a Missouri Meerschaum corncob, but is great in any pipe. As a tribute to American independence, this is a limited edition, only 1,776 tins.
Nice.
Get yours while you can.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I got two of them. We're going to go ahead and open one.
Well, I was going to smoke in the
sure.
Morgan, but
why not?
I feel dirty.
Because
it's dirty doing that.
Optimized for corn cobs.
See, it's it.
Well, maybe you should smoke it in that, and then you can bear witness, goodness, to whether it's any good. If you're not smoking a cob.
Nope, I'm good.
This is not working for me. My knife. Have you got a coin?
Nope.
Good. It's a good video right here. Let's tell you about Christmas.
So we did. You're right there.
No. Here, get that out of there.
Okay.
You found a coin. Good deal.
Well, it's not what I want to use. Limited edition Pioneer Village coin.
Oh. That's from our vacation a summer or so ago.
Nope.
That lid is on there. Way to go, Lane Limited. Anyway, we had Christmas at our house, but then the Junior Mark Woods and the other family, they had some time. Look at the clear tin pog, tobacco pog.
We had 4 Christmases.
All right.
That's interesting. It smells caramely.
No, that's the taste of summer you're smelling right there.
Oh. But
smells
summer
like,
smells caramely.
Smells like freshly mowed lawns.
Yeah.
Hot dogs.
Chlorine.
Baseball chlorine.
Baseball chlorine? Alright, so Christmas we had 4 Christmases. We had one Christmas with my mother-in-law, our Christmas morning with our family, Christmas with my father-in-law, and Christmas with the Markwoods.
The seniors.
Yeah. So that was fun. It made it a whole event.
A whole day.
It was a lot less stressful than it could have been under the circumstances.
What does that mean if we had all been together?
Yep. No, I mean it was not. This year we all kind of decided to cut back the spending a little bit, and so.
Did you let your mom know that?
No, should have, but it made it a little bit less hectic. For my wife's family, they did a Secret Santa gift exchange this year. So instead of us buying gifts for everybody, we just bought a gift for one person. I made an obnoxious package for my gift. I made a
Your
box.
gift was cool.
Yeah, I made a lamp. Made it out of a box that I kind of rusticated, put some chalk paint on the top of it.
This is for your sister-in-law who likes steampunk and other things,
Correct.
right?
And Cthulhu and that sort of stuff. Lovecraft. And so the lamp part is a Edison bulb on top with a toggle switch, and the top of the box is actually chalk paint. But then I took all of that and I put it inside of a crate that I screwed down with brackets, and then I put a lock on it, and then I gave that to her with a lockpick set. Told her to go to town. She picked the lock. Not only did she get the lock undone, but she pin-picked the lock. Because what I didn't know is that her ex was a locksmith. And so she had some experience with lockpicking. So that really impressed me. But she said, why don't all presents come like this? This is awesome. So it's good. I like to give that side of the family especially a hard time when wrapping gifts.
These are the kind of people that you usually use about a roll and a half of tape. Yeah.
I think we talked about that. And then my gift, my Secret Santa, was my to-be brother-in-law. He is engaged to my sister-in-law, my wife's sister. He got me a hexcopter.
What's
six
a hexcopter?
Well, quadcopters are 4. This one has 6.
Okay,
propellers. And it's bigger than any of my quadcopters. It's got LED strips.
Are they propellers or are they rotary wings?
Yes.
They get their lift, though, through propulsion that not... Okay, so it's probably propellers.
They're propellers. It's awesome. It's much more stable than the quadcopters I have. I think due to its size. I'm gonna get a small security camera and attach it to the bottom to take video. Once I do that, I'll probably show off some of the video.
Now, is this one of those that you have to now register with with the feds?
No, but I did go ahead and register. So, the registration, federal government is now requiring you to register drones, or they call them hobbyist unmanned aircraft, basically. That you have to register them if they're larger in weight than 0.55 pounds or less than 55 pounds. Anything over that is usually for more commercial application.
That's already got a requirement, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and so it's got a written application that you have to put in. Anything within that range requires registration. You have to get an identification number that has to be visible on all of your devices. You have certain regulations. You can't fly them above 400 feet. You can't fly them above people, above stadiums, above other things.
Where can you fly them?
And you fly them anywhere that's open.
Desert.
And so the registration process, you have to put your number onto them. Because they're now requiring this, the registration will cost $5 for a 3-year registration. But until the end of January, they're allowing people to get the registration at no cost. So I did go ahead and I signed up for the registration, even though my drone is not doesn't meet the weight.
Mandated.
It doesn't meet the weight requirements.
Why'd you go ahead and do it?
They say anything under $100 usually is not gonna.
Why'd you go ahead and do it?
Because it was free. So it was free. So over the next 3 years, my hope is to have something that meets those requirements. I really enjoy flying those. It's a fun hobby. And what I really want to do is I really want to start building my own. I want to build the ones that have the first-person view on them.
Oh, sure.
So that you can race them, so that they have goggles that you can wear. You can see first-person what it sees. And people race them and through abandoned warehouses, through the woods. It's so cool. You should check out videos on YouTube.
There's
for those.
amazing videos on YouTube of RC planes.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see the one that had the big circular wing? Okay, this is an airplane. An airplane that these guys made, and it has a wing that's shaped like a hoop. And the guys, they'd made several of them that were smaller, but they finally made a huge one. And I mean, it was so huge that they added 8 feet of material to the hoop, but it only made it like 2 feet wider. Okay, so this hoop is massive. Got a couple lighters here. And while they were flying this, other planes and helicopters, quadcopters, were being flown through it. I don't know that they were encouraging that, but it happened. They were at some event where lots of folks were flying their RC planes. And of course, somebody ended up clipping it when they were trying to go through and broke off a big old section of this hoop. Still kept flying. It's pretty amazing. And then ultimately it was taken down by one of the other RC pilots. But that we'll link to that one, because once you get to that channel, there's so many cool things that these guys have done. Rocket-powered planes and helicopters, and they're the ones that made, if you saw it, they made a battleship that flew, and then they landed airplanes on that. They also flew some X-wing fighters and stuff like that.
So my buddy Josh was into flying RC planes when he was younger. By younger, I mean like college age. And there's this guy that owns a golf course in South Carolina, and 1 week out of the year he shuts the golf course down and opens it up for RC hobbyists. And you park your RV, put your tents up, you camp out on the golf course, and they've got a airstrip there, and people can sign up to fly their planes. People just watch throughout the day. They've got various theme times, so you might have a time where it's only World War II planes flying, a time where it's only jets that have to actually throttle down, because if they go their full speed, they're breaking regulations because they're flying over 300 miles an hour. This guy has a half-scale RC car that uses a VW Beetle as the body. A Volkswagen Bug is the body, and the engine is the Bug, and it's remote controlled. It's crazy.
Wow.
So that's probably, it wouldn't be a surprise if that's where it was. People go in there. And
no,
fly.
this wasn't a golf course. This was a field, a farmer's field that they were flying over. So anyway, it's cool.
That's a fun thing to go to. Joe Knoll.
Now, my dad, your grandfather, he flies gliders, remote control gliders, and he has been into, as long as I can remember, when I was a kid, he was into sailboats that you had to rig the sailboats, these models, and his, of course, were always catamarans, and they used rubber bands and things to control exactly what everything was set to do, and then based on what the wind was doing and the conditions in the water, you could theoretically have this thing set to at least sail across a lake, which I remember that as a kid, walking across the lake to go get Dad's sailboat. Yeah. Well, then he started getting into remote control cars for a very short time. And I think that was because they had come down in price so much that the next logical thing was going to be airplanes.
Right.
And sure enough, that happened. Next was gliders. So he's never, to my knowledge, been into powered flight as far as the RC is concerned. But the gliders he's into. They live out in Denver, so he can do this in the mountains, I guess, if he wants to.
Yeah.
So.
To get someone to tow him up?
I don't think so. I think he just throws it off the cliff.
Oh. That's one way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Around here, they'll get the gliders will be towed by a plane and fly up and glide. It's cool. They're cool. Josh's dad, he's built airplanes. Once you have the components, you can do the planes for pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. He builds them out of pieces of just basically plumbing, and he uses those corrugated plastic mm-hmm. signs for the wings and everything. Yeah. He'll go out after an election and just grab up a bunch of those signs, and he uses those, makes them. The most expensive part is the controller.
I mean, they make these things. They're basically lifting bodies. And they'll make what looks. I think they even call them sleds, mm-hmm. right? So they'll have some that are just plain old flat and cut out like a Delta Wing aircraft, but they'll make others that have some. They look like the Flying Nuns hat to me. Anybody my age would remember the Flying Nun, Sally Field. Sally Field. Let me just stop and think about Sally for a minute. Okay, I'm good.
Okay. Is that good for you?
It was, actually. It was. Smokey and the Bandit fans out there know what I'm talking about.
Speaking of Smokey and the Bandit, did you guys see Star Wars?
Yes.
Terrible, right? No spoilers. In the description.
No spoilers at all. Can I talk about anything?
No.
I enjoyed it. We can start with that. I enjoyed it.
That's a spoiler.
It was a little frustrating.
We can talk about that in about 6 months.
Okay. All right. Go see it. Let us know. We'll talk about it.
You should definitely see it.
So what
we can say, does it pass the sequel test?
Yeah, but for a different reason than usual. So for us, the sequel test is if the second or third movie in a series, in a franchise, were the only one, standalone movie, would they make a sequel out of it? Yeah, they would. Yes, they would. However, I think that there's a big percentage of us viewers that are fans of the series. So it passes the sequel test and that we want to see what happens next.
Right.
But if there had never been any Star Wars and they made this one, yes, but I would suspect it'd be a different audience.
It'd be a different movie, too.
Yeah, it would be a different, well, is it a different movie?
It would be a different movie.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, good movie. We'll see it. We'll see it again. That's the one thing I always enjoy with those movies, seeing them again, and probably again. There's so many little things that, because you didn't know they were coming, you didn't fully appreciate them. Mm-hmm. And so now that we know what's going to happen in the next scene, we're ready for it. We can.
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for Ender to become to be 8.
Machete order, right?
Yeah. Okay. To be 8 to share those with him.
I think the last thing I'd like to hit on today, and this could probably take us into a whole other episode if we want to. We have a sequel to this episode. Something happened this week that almost could be a standalone rant, and I want to talk about it here, and maybe on my Aristocob channel I will rant a little bit about this. But we went to a restaurant, my bride and I, and we had pretty poor service, and on top of the poor service, I ordered a burger. My wife ordered a steak. I ordered it medium rare. She ordered hers medium rare. Both of them were medium. Now that happens, right? When a cook cooks it, usually they pull it off a little bit before its final doneness. Then the carryover will bring it up to temperature. Maybe it sat under a heat lamp, which I could blame on my server, right?
Sure.
But what I do blame on the server is the fact that she came and dropped the food off, and then we didn't see her for almost 10 minutes.
Yeah.
No check back to see, hey, did you want any ketchup with those fries? Do you need some more drink? Stuff like that. That's frustrating because I drink a lot of pop. I just do. Now, you could take into account the fact that maybe she had a lot of tables. I didn't see a lot of tables. I think maybe she had to smoke. Who knows? But then suddenly the bill showed up. There was no, do you guys need anything else? Would you like a dessert? None of that happened. I don't know that I wanted a dessert, but I had been looking at the pies they had at this restaurant. Looked pretty good. I might have ordered a dessert to go, but the bill shows up. And as I look at it, I'm doing a double check of this, and she had taken a highlighter and highlighted where it said the recommended tip amounts. Now, I'll give her this. She didn't just highlight the 20%. But
so this particular bill had three recommended, right, printed with the receipt.
20%, 18%, 15%. That's right.
So she could have just highlighted the 20% and said, here you go.
Had she done that, we would have been talking to the manager. Mm-hmm. Okay? I was going to tip what I was going to tip anyway. Now, let me before I go off on this rant any further, I love tipping. I really like being a generous tipper. It makes me feel good. I think we talked about this before.
Mm-hmm. We have.
I like to tip well, especially in the holiday season.
Yeah.
You know, I know that these folks are working their butts off and they've got bills and gifts to buy and things like that. So I love tipping well. At the same time, I also like enjoying my meal and not staring at a glass of ice, right? And I like it when somebody says, hey, is that done properly? Because especially if I'm going to buy a burger, okay, I don't want an overcooked burger. North Carolina, that tends to happen a lot because it used to be until recently they had to cook it beyond medium. And now restaurants that grind their own meat can cook it less than medium. And this is one of those places that is supposed to be able to do that. Anyway, I'm very frustrated by this, and I know that when I posted the picture on Instagram of my bill, that there were some people that were taking the server's side and defending the server. Hey, you know, it's the holiday season, they're working hard, just cut them a break. I did. I didn't not tip. I didn't call the manager over. I didn't make a point of saying anything to the server in a snide way or anything. But I will tell you, if you feel like you need to be a server for whatever reason, it's maybe the only opportunity you have to earn a check, or it's something you think that you want to do, please don't be that way. Please just service your customers. If you serve the customers and you satisfy their need for having the food and their glasses filled, it doesn't cost you, Mrs. Server, Mr. Server, a penny more to keep my Diet Coke glass full. Doesn't cost you a penny more to make sure that people, if they're drinking water, have water. I know that you're not earning a huge amount because I'm not drinking alcohol. I know that. I know that your tip isn't going to be that much bigger because I didn't order an appetizer. And the assumption was made I wasn't going to order a dessert, right? So right there, the server reduced the potential for earning more.
Sure.
But that began with the attitude and with the lack of service. I know that some people feel that it's not fair that servers are paid less than minimum wage. Well, let me say this about that. You accepted the job. You knew what the conditions of the job were. I don't want to hear you complaining that you earn less than minimum wage. Also, by the way, that's bull, because you do earn at least minimum wage, not only because your employer has to match up to minimum wage if you didn't earn minimum wage, but in addition, if you, in the end of the year, didn't earn enough, you're going to get an earned income tax credit, right? So you're going to come out okay, even if you're a horrible server. But if you want to make a decent income and provide for your family and have a great day, give good service. Just give good service. And then I'm going to take care of you. I have some restaurants that I have seen servers fight to have my table, right? The Mexican place that's near my work, there's a couple servers that love to have our table because they know that we're happy and we're not going to give them grief, and then we're going to give them a decent tip at the end of the meal.
Yeah.
So, and I also know, again, if they're busy and they're needing to turn the tables, then maybe in the end they're going to make more money by serving just entrees and turn the table, serve just entrees, turn the table, right? So they're making a calculation sometimes that's why they're not asking you for those other items. But I won't go back there. I probably won't go back there, and that's a shame. That's a shame because that hurts the establishment and the other servers at that restaurant. It just was, the food was okay. Had it been cooked the way I ordered it, it would have certainly been better. But anyway, add or take away from that, boy.
You know, one of the things that is evident to me in sales is that the stink of desperation is strong, and there's nothing that will turn somebody away from your business, from your
Making a buying
pitch,
decision.
from whatever,
Yeah.
than desperation. There's nothing that will turn a date off faster than desperation. You know, that just comes across, and nobody enjoys that. Nobody enjoys being in a situation where you're being pleaded with by someone who's desperate. And you know, I think I've seen that in businesses just in general, not necessarily something very specific like this, but have gone into places where, you know, I would rather like for instance, Radio Shack. I don't go into Radio Shack because there's always desperation in the air. And every single Radio Shack experience I've ever had, there you have 10 people pouncing on you.
They got a quota to make. They got to sell some batteries today.
Right. And it's terrible. I mean, it very much feels like a used car dealership.
Where do you find a Radio Shack anymore?
There's one in the mall, the Shack.
I'm making my point there.
Right.
That's part of the reason for the downfall of
Right.
Radio Shack. Of course, so is Amazon and eBay and other alternatives to Radio Shack. But you're right that when Radio Shack stopped servicing the needs of the do-it-yourselfers, the hobbyists, and the people that were looking to do electronics and audio files and things like that, and became about selling that pallet load of remote control car crap that they keep right in the entryway. Because they have to sell you batteries for the remote and batteries for the car.
Right.
They make good money on their batteries if you haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
That completely changed my attitude about Radio Shack.
Yeah.
And the pressures that they started putting on people.
Yeah, I mean, let your work and let your work, if you're a server or if you're at work in any job, stand on its own merit. Do good work and trust that it will be recognized. It won't always be.
Mm-hmm.
It won't always be, but when it is, it'll be rewarded.
Yeah. Now, can we also speak to one very personal thing here, and that is the habit of poor tipping among many Christians.
Yeah.
As a Christian, I got to tell you, that really irritates me. Have you ever seen where someone would leave like a religious track
That looks like $1.
Looks like a dollar instead of their tip? I'd like to shoot those people. I mean, that is, again, just the opposite of the goal they have in mind, clearly.
Right.
Right? That's not the way to share your faith, people. Share your faith by being joyous and happy and tip with a joyous heart. And, that just frustrates me. Stop it.
Be generous.
Talk about tracks on urinals sometime.
How about let's not?
Good idea.
All right. We have used up more than enough of your time. Thank you for watching this week. It should be obvious that we've been out of the shop for a little while. Have some unresolved issues apparently.
What do you think of this tobacco?
I didn't care for it.
Didn't you?
I mean, it's fine. I didn't hate it, but I would not be reaching for that first again.
I am enjoying it, and
Good.
I will mourn for it when it's gone.
Well, good. I'm real glad of that.
I'm a Cavendish smoker, right? That shouldn't surprise anybody.
It almost for me felt it tasted as if it was dry. Had a little bit of that burning kind of
summertime burning leaves.
Yeah, the summertime burning leaves, but spontaneous combustion going on. Like it was like a dried out tobacco, burning more than it ought. And it's not. It's perfect.
I'm not getting that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have smoked it in the other. Maybe that was my mistake.
Maybe so. We should probably endeavor in this coming year to smoke out of larger bowl pipes.
Okay.
I will most definitely do that smoking the English blends that we get our hands on, because it's been counterproductive to smoke those in a small pipe.
Has it?
Yeah, they burn too intensely, and I find that, believe it or not, smoking in a larger bowl has made the English blends more bearable.
Cool.
I'm also tempted to take some of these nose warmers and drill them out, make them a little bit larger, which they would eventually get that way if I smoked them consistently. But because I don't, every time I come back to them, they're back at close to the original size bore, and it might be interesting to drill those out. Right now they're about 5/8 of an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, and take them up to 7/8. Try that and see how that works out. We'll let you know.
Sounds about right to me. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a safe and happy New Year.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you in January.
Bye, guys. Make it a great week.